Hello, everyone. This is Interstellar Radio. Today's date is September 29th, 2018. Tonight we have a special guest. It is going by the name of Took, connected to the Carian alien species and connected to has a great amount of knowledge of other alien histories, stories. So we're going to go into Took and begin our conversation. So, hello, Took, you there?
Yes, I am here.
Greetings. Okay. Yes, please begin wherever you'd like to start.
Well, I would have to say that it all started with the Reptilians. Of course, everything started with the Reptilians in the galaxy.
Yeah.
First off, there were the felines and there were the Carians. The felines, they are a race known for their medical technologies. They are one of the best when it comes to medicine and cures. They actually have the cure for cancer, but as of now, we really cannot share this cure with the human race, as you can see, since the planet is currently under reptilian control. Also, it is also due to the Galactic Federation putting a lockdown on planet Earth, where it would have to be Earth contacting aliens in order to release this lockdown. You have to do this on your own. We cannot help you, because that would just be helping an immature species, and it is against our code of conduct.
Yeah, please continue.
So, damn it.
That's okay.
I can't really say this without having to put in a huge spoiler here.
Mm-hmm.
This is, okay, life as you know it is not life as you know it.
Yes, I agree.
How do I say this without scaring people?
I would just say I'm cool with it. I want to hear it.
Okay. But I cannot be held responsible for what happens after this is revealed. Life is literally a big game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There are currently 12 creatures known as the Ancients from the previous Universal Games. Basically put, there is a God, and this God is a creature that is beyond our understanding, but we do know that he started the games in the first place. He was lonely, and so he separated himself into millions of souls. He wanted to experience life from different points of view, billions upon trillions of points of views. And so therein started the game. The first universe before this was made up of many different species, and only 12 have won the game. The goal of the game is to evolve to a certain state where you are basically in something known as a supra form. Everyone in the species has to attain this state, or else the species does not advance. These ancients, or the creatures who have won the previous game, are in charge of creating different dimensions, different universes. Basically put, they help make the multiverse along with its natural spawning. This is the second game. We are currently in the second game. The first 4 species, or 5 species, depending on how the ancients are feeling, to evolve to superstate, will be selected, and they will become ancients and will be allowed to have free reign over the power of creation. Now, during the beginning of this game, there were many of us who wanted to participate, obviously, in order to gain this control. There were the felines, the Carians, the Nomos, the Omos, and the Orbos. Those are one of the main races. Now, the Carians and the felines, we got along just fine. We first started out as primitive animals. We first had an ethereal form, but we needed to step down to level 1. So we had to sort of evolve past the ooze and the primitive four-legged creatures or winged creatures. Over time, over a period of a few billion years, we evolved into the Carians and the felines that we currently know today. We are two-legged creatures. We have a wide array of technologies that we are known for. Carians are known for their warships. We are a species of war, but that doesn't necessarily make us evil.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We do it for the sport, and we do it for justice. We have our own religion based around this. We believe in the honor system, and in fact, this is actually where many of Earth's honor systems come from, such as Japan with their little, honorable samurai shit.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, seppuku was not one of those honorable systems.
Yeah.
They evolved that on their own. So eventually the Carians and the felines met up, and we decided to undergo a trade of technologies. We decided to trade our ships for their medicine and genetic engineering knowledge. And this is where the beginning of the reptilian experiments began. We wanted to create a worker race, one that would be non-sentient, one that would not be self-aware. Unfortunately, later on in the process, they did become self-aware. I had a brother by the name of Rizar, and he was one of the scientists who were working on the experiments. There was a rather jealous individual who was furious with one of our scientists. I cannot say who, because he is probably going to be viewing this, and he does not want his name to be spoken. This person broke into the lab, and he messed with the experiments. He set us back a few months, but eventually he was arrested for his crimes, and he was put into a facility. I'm not sure if that's what made everything go wrong, or if it was just pure coincidence, but the first generation of reptilians were fine. They did their work as they were supposed to. They did everything we told them. They were like children. It was a sort of relationship between I want to say teacher and son, but master and slave kind of more or less fits it, sadly. We were not very kind to them, and the second generation, something went wrong. There was a reptilian known by the name of Lucifer. He and a third of the reptilians went up against us. We had to eventually form some sort of truce, one that would benefit both of us and the sentient reptilians. We decided we were going to send them to another planet, a planet of their own, which they would inhabit. This planet was known as Tiamat, or what you now currently call Earth. Unfortunately, the reptilians, along with the jealous scientist, named Thoth, who had escaped from the prison, had kidnapped a group of Carian scientists and went on their way without any of us knowing. When they arrived to Tiamat, there was a rogue planet on its way, and this planet is what collided into Tiamat and made it into what we call Earth. And it is also what created the moon, because chunks of the planet came off and it formed into the the lunar celestial body that you see today in the sky. After this event, the Reptilians started calling themselves the Anunnaki, and they wanted to create their own worker species. And with the help of the kidnapped Carian scientists, they were able to create a race known as the Adamu, or Adam, as we used to call the first man.
Yeah.
They were created in the Eden facilities, which was a sort of medical facility that the Reptilians created. They would force this worker race to create monuments to them, to create other technologies. They were mindless at first. Then, in a sort of ironic twist, they also became self-aware. In fact, the first one who became self-aware became too self-aware. He, in fact, obtained a supra form, which made him nearly impossible to stop by the Reptilian army. Eventually, this part of the DNA which allowed supraform to be attained was suppressed, and it is now known as the junk DNA that we have in our DNA today. And so later on, Thoth, the jealous scientist, eventually, with the help of the Anunnaki, became known as the Egyptian god Thoth, the creator of alchemy, the all-wise bird god. And I just want to say in my piece here that Thoth is a traitor, and he deserves to suffer for what he has done. But unfortunately, he died peacefully, and we were not able to arrest him. However, there is a piece of his technology that is still on the planet Earth. It is known as the Book of Thoth.
Mm-hmm.
It is basically a tablet of sorts, one that connects to the galactic net. It's basically an internet for the entire galaxy. And if humans were to find that, they could easily contact an alien species. But for now, it is currently lost, and we do not know where it is at. It was originally found by another human, but then it was sealed away in a tomb, never to be seen again. You can look up the story of the Book of Thoth in Egyptian mythology. It is somewhere on the internet. I've seen it. I've read about it. And it is surprisingly accurate, except for the defense mechanisms that were made for it. In fact, it wasn't creatures that could not be killed. It was creatures that could not be disabled. You had to find a way around them. Anyone who has read about the Book of Thoth will know what I'm talking about. So that's pretty much it for now. As history progressed, the Anunnaki sort of stayed in the shadows. They wanted to make these humans who had become self-aware sort of into an army, as in influencing humanity to go at war against each other over and over and over via religious differences and corruption of monarchies.
What is their, why are they doing that?
They want to turn humanity into a sort of army that feels no fear, that does not fear death, and would gladly go to die in battle. That is their ultimate goal. They believe that in a few more billions of years, humanity will have become a warlike species, much like the Carians, and they want to use this against the Carians and against the rest of the galaxy, and to take over. Humans would basically become an unstoppable army.
So during it feels like at least during Atlantis time period, that's when the humans are being slowly deactivated, you can say.
Yes.
And then turned against each other. You can, using whatever there is there.
Correct. It's mostly sleight of hand corruption, government corruption. The Anunnaki are high up beyond even the president. Unfortunately, for all you people who think Trump is a reptilian, he's not a reptilian. He's just an idiot.
What about Hillary Clinton? What do you think? That's something different.
She certainly does fit the qualifications of a reptilian. A reptilian would have to be someone who is smart, loves power, and, well, forgive me for sounding racist, but they would also have to be white.
Yeah.
They seem to like that color. Although there are rare times in which they will choose a person of black skin color.
Well, it seems like they're pretty not very kind to those in the black color.
No, they're not. They see people who are black color as more variable, and they are afraid that people who are black are more adaptable than people who are white. They want to sort of create a racist society.
Yeah.
So that we try to suppress black people. It's funny how it ends up with the black people suppressing the white people now. Because you see, I'm not against Black Lives Matter. In fact, I'm all for black lives being equal to whites. Yeah. But when you start throwing riots and you start beating up white people, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. That just means that you're trying to make yourself better than white people. You want to be equal. It's called variety. That's evolution. You have to be able to adapt in all situations.
Agreed. So what is there? I mean, a lot of us were trying to become societies wants to become more peaceful, depending, less war. Of course, war at the home, war with the family is still going on. Is there anything you can what are there's Anunnaki. What about with the Carians, or what species are helping us?
There is a plan set in motion to evacuate Earth if Earth ever does go into a form of nuclear catastrophe or in a phase of near extinction. We have done this before with Mars, and currently they are on Santa Fe Baldy in a base hidden inside. They are Martians, and they are very peaceful. They look exactly like you, except they have no hair. They only want to leave, but they cannot, because they are afraid that if they do leave, humanity will go against them, that humanity will torture them in experiments. But currently, there are the Carians, the felines, the Orbos, the Omos, the Nomos, and the rest of the Galactic Federation who are trying to help humanity, especially the Ashtar Command, if you know who they are.
Yes.
Lieutenant Ashtar, I gotta tell you, I don't like the guy. I personally don't like him because he's too nice. Okay. Like, you ever seen that dynamic on Fairly Odd Parents where it shows Timmy's dad and Dinkelberg?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, Dinkelberg. Like, that's like me with Ashtar. Ashtar! I just don't like the guy. I don't like all the goody two shoes stuff. It's too nice. It's not, yeah.
Too forgiving. These species. So you named the Carians, which is the
Bird-like species.
yeah. Oh, like I see them as yeah, the bald eagle. The eagle is probably
Yes.
the most. Can you explain? Yeah, can you go through those species, those ones that you just named? Can you just give people a description of whatever?
Okay. The Carians are a bird species that walks on two legs. We have feathers. We have basically winged arms with claw tips at the end that act as hands, as digits. We have a variety of colors. We have a variety of subspecies of Carians. We have the crow subspecies. We have the toucan subspecies. We have all these different kinds of subspecies. Just like Earth has white and black people and Asians and Africans and all that, we have toucans, crows, parakeets, all different sets of subspecies, and we are known for our weaponry and our warships. We are very calm, calculating, and we are also known for creating the Stargate jumpers in the galaxy, which allow a ship without a light speed drive to go at light speed. It's basically like this. Okay, have you seen Mass Effect?
I'm aware of it. Yes, yeah.
There is a device in Mass Effect that allows a ship to slingshot to light speeds, even past light speeds. We have created a device that is sort of like that. It is around pretty much every 2, maybe 3 galaxies apart. There is not one in the solar system, but there is one in the Orion system and the Zeta Reticuli system. And we can easily reach you. However, you cannot easily reach us, sadly to say, though you can contact us via the moon, your moon. There are also the felines. They, as I have said before, they have taken great strides in medicine. They can cure almost any disease except for death itself. They can prolong a life very easily, but that can only go every few thousand years. Like Carians on their own, we can live up to 200 years naturally, but with the felines' help, we can live to around 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Although there is a rumor that the felines have a technology that can make one immortal, but we don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how Thoth managed to live so long, as they had arrived when Earth was in its beginning stage. I'm not sure how he lived so long. Sometimes I wonder if he somehow had obtained this technology. The Nomos, they are an aquatic species, akin to dolphins. They are highly intelligent. They're a strange species, very queer. They have a strange culture in which they'll romanticize everything with technology. They'll make robots that are built for sexual gratification. It reminds me of Japan.
That's funny.
But they're not a bad species. They're very unique and they're very fun. In fact, I believe they're very similar to those who are autistic here on Earth. They're my current body is autistic, according to several doctors. But there are currently no relationships between the Carians and the Nomos. They are doing their own thing. They don't really like to interact with other species. They normally keep to themselves. And next, there are the Orbos. The Orbos are a spiritual species. They are ethereal in nature. They are basically living orbs of energy. They don't need technology as they have transcended past that. They are basically a group of thoughts. They can see everything, and I mean everything, even the color of your underwear. Basically, they are an all-knowing species, and if they wanted to, they could easily check up on other species and see what secret projects they have going on. However, they will not share this information as they cannot really talk to any other species. They can only talk to themselves.
How do they get involved with us, though? How do the Carians talk to them?
We were able to talk to them through a means of telecommunication, such as technology, like say, blink this light once for yes and blink it twice for no, sort of that kind of thing, like how you talk to ghosts.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. So they sort of kind of like show up and, oh, it's they're here or something like that. Okay.
Yeah, and we don't know how to talk to them in any more complicated ways. We cannot. They are a very fascinating species. Then there's also the Omos. They are even stranger than the Orbos. They're like a cousin of the Orbos. They have also ascended, but they can talk to others, but they can't spy on anyone. They can go anywhere they please, but if they were to try to spy on you, they could be seen instantly. They're basically a big light in the middle of the room. It's like an elephant in Central Square Park.
Interesting.
There's not a lot known about them. We do know that they are always curious. They're always curious to see what you're doing. Like if you're playing a video game, they're going to be looking at you wondering what you're doing. You know, they don't know what you're doing. They just want to know everything. They want to know everything, but they're terrible spies. They make terrible spies. Those are mainly like the 5 main species.
Okay. Yeah,
I could talk about the Greys, but no one really likes the Greys.
Yeah, interesting. What about? Let's see. The idea of is there anything you say about? Let's see here about Mars. What
Mars?
Is there anything you can say on that?
Oh dear, that was a huge tragedy. So before Earth could gain its own atmosphere, Mars had an atmosphere of its own. It was a beautiful planet. It consisted mostly of grasslands, plains, and there were many pyramids on it, many pyramid structures. They were very akin to Egyptians in that sense, and they were taking great strides in technology. However, they also had a ton of pollution, and they were blind to this. This is actually a phase that most other species go through, and most species, sadly, do not go past this stage. You have to be smart to avoid it. In fact, Earth is on the verge of extinction if they don't curb their pollution rates. Yeah. You are very close to dying. Basically, Mars, they looked like humans, sort of. They had bulbous heads. They were tall people, red-skinned, and they just loved their culture. They were very rich in dances, music. They had amazing theater. they did not even know about us at the time. They didn't know about other species at the time. They were so enamored with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beautiful thing. But later on, as the pollution rose and the atmosphere started to thin out, they started to die. They had to build bunkers to go underground. They were very scared, and it was understandable. When they reached at less than 3% of their population, we had to step in. In fact, the felines were the ones who insisted that we had to save this civilization, because if we didn't, their culture would be lost, and it would be a great waste to the galaxy if we didn't. God damn, felines are so compassionate. Carians, we would have just left them alone to die.
Yeah.
This was when we were working on our whole, our whole reptilian experiments. We were more concerned with ourselves than with other species. But we aren't like that now.
Yeah.
We've learned to be less selfish. So the Galactic Federation came in. They saved what was left of the Martian species, and they relocated them to the nearest planet of Earth.
Yeah.
Or Tiamat, as it was called at the moment. They placed them underground in a bunker at Santa Fe Baldy, and they've been there ever since. As they cannot survive in the outside atmosphere, they've had to evolve. But they can survive out here now. They can.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't back then, because Earth's oxygen was way too rich.
Mm-hmm.
As in, there was a lot of oxygen back then. Creatures were getting bigger. You had the dinosaurs and everything and shit.
Oh, with the Martians, at least with the male, it feels like they were very. Maybe it was near the end of the time of Mars. It became very aggressive towards the female. It's like you need to toughen up and become, you're like a gladiator, or you become more manly, or you die, or something like that. They didn't make like.
They were.
I guess that's what I get from them.
They were very sexist in a way, but they wasn't meant to be bad. It was meant to be an empowering thing. They were trying to make both genders have a sort of, positivity to them, but it ended up being more of a women are subservient to man sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. We inherited a lot of that.
We did.
Well, also, it feels like some of the Martians, not all of them, but some of them were more aggressive than reptilians. Like very destructive type.
Originally they were, but nowadays they are very caring, very kind. In fact, they've even given refuge to a foreign experiment of the reptilians named Lilith. She's such a sweet child. She shouldn't have been tormented. Okay. The story of Lilith, there was a goal of the reptilians in order to speed up the human army process. They wanted to create the ultimate human. And this is where Lilith came from. They named her after a previous reptilian named Lilith, and they named it after her. Poor Lilith, she was subjected to torture, needles, lights, lasers, and all that. She is so primitive. She can only speak in grunts, in short sentences. But she was a huge success. She was a huge success of the reptilians. However, she got out of control, luckily, and killed many reptilians in the process and escaped. You can actually see slight videos of her from time to time on YouTube. If you were to look up CCTV, you could look up some teleportation feats of Lilith. She's learned to blend into society, but she doesn't talk to anyone. She wears our clothing. She knows our language, but she barely speaks. Basically, she can manipulate time. She can stop the flow of time around her, and it looks like she's teleporting.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, she's not teleporting. However, she can only stop it. She cannot rewind it. She can only stop it and make it resume again. There are other creatures who are insanely powerful out in the universe right now who are much more of a threat than the reptilians. And they are very aggressive. There are two other experiments. Before God, there was a creature in the universe known as the Leviathan. This Leviathan was a plague upon life itself, and God actually had to come down and fight him if God wanted to spread out his consciousness. Because if he didn't, the Leviathan would have killed all of them. So he went down there, defeated the Leviathan, but then later on, the Galactic Federation, my fucking god, they found remains of the corpse of the Leviathan, and they extracted the DNA. And they decided, let's make a clone. We can weaponize this. We can use this to defeat the reptilians.
Jeez.
And so you know how that song and dance goes with any experiment that got out of control, and now we have the creature known as Io. As he was developed on the planet Io, so we called him Project Io. Mm-hmm. Io is capable of massive feats. He can steal life energy from other people. He can disrupt soul matrices. He can bust planets. He is a huge threat. And currently he has spread himself across the multiverse. He exists everywhere. Yes. And now there is a prophecy, an end-time prophecy, where he will come face to face with another experiment, also made by Galactic Federation, known as Omega. There was another creature known as the Behemoth, who was similar to the Leviathan. They were like brothers in a sense. The Behemoth was also destroyed, not by God, but by another species who banded together to destroy this creature. They've also found the remains of this creature on a planet, and they decided they were going to create him as well. They are both in humanoid form, and if they were to ever come across each other, an eternal battle would rage on, and they would fight for all eternity. And they would basically just be preoccupied with each other, not bothering anyone else. Of course, that would take a long time, as they are currently both doing their own thing. Omega, he'll do whatever the hell he wants. He doesn't care about anyone. He's like the bad boy of your classic 70s movies. While Io, he just lives for killing. He wants to destroy you. He's evil incarnate. He wants your soul. He'll take your soul and add it to his own power. Basically, you have the anti-hero versus the villain.
What about the Archons? Everything.
Archons?
Yeah.
Could you explain to me an Archon?
There's different. Basically, the architect of our society. They're, I guess, fourth dimension. There are. You can say they put their own grid around our reality.
Are you talking about the what are they called? They have something to do with light. Their name had something to do with light. I cannot remember.
They might go by different names.
everyone goes by a different name. Carians tend to go by what the Galactic Federation calls everything.
Well, they're kind of like the Borg in Star Trek, something similar to that.
Very interesting. They sound like the Nephilim, but the Nephilim went extinct a long time ago.
What about so with Earth and the Earth's history, such as when the human well, there's a lot of wars on Earth before Atlantis, right?
Before what?
Before Atlantis, there's a lot of
Yes, Atlantis was a paradise, basically, for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Humans were able to get together with another species known as the Lemurians. The Lemurians landed on this planet. They wanted to spread peace. In fact, they actively defied the Galactic Federation's code in order to help humanity, because they saw humans as a weak species that they needed to be saved from this Anunnaki threat. Unfortunately, reptilians grew tired of the Lemurians interfering, and so they decided they were just going to sink the whole fucking city. The Lemurians were psychic creatures. They were very telepathic. They were very strong, almost psychokinetic energy. They could move massive objects such as mountains. They had a literal third eye, which is where we get the little term third eye in psychic terms.
Mm-hmm. With the dinosaurs, you have a history on.
We do have a history on the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were they're nothing special, actually. Mm-hmm. They were originally created by another species who came by long before reptilians, and they wanted to try their own hand at experimentation. However, the dinosaurs didn't turn out the way they wanted them to, and so they just sort of left the dumb beasts to roam the earth on their own, and eventually an asteroid did come, and it did eventually wipe out the dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs aren't really anything special, to be honest.
Their energies are still here, though? Some people have.
Yes, they are still here in a spiritual form. Mm-hmm. They're also still here in a physical form. If you have heard of the Loch Ness monster.
Yes. Yeah. Well, even it feels like around Africa, there's an area there somewhere where dinosaurs.
There is. They are very clever at hiding. In fact, dinosaurs, they will hide if you actively look for them. It's merely survival instinct. They have nothing against humans. They just want to be left alone.
Yeah, because they have the movie Jurassic Park. That's kind of like a,
people like to make dinosaurs look all savage and everything, but really dinosaurs were mainly chill. Including the T-Rex. Sometimes the T-Rex wasn't a bloodthirsty creature. It would kill if it needed to eat, but it could hang around other dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. But if it wanted to eat, it was going to eat. They don't go out killing everything in their sights. People have a tendency to sort of make dinosaurs seem like such horrible creatures.
Yeah, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. When humans are being, developed, it does feel like there was a reptilian version of human. I mean, technically we are, but more reptilian-like. I don't know if you can.
There were. Mm-hmm. This was the proto stages. Maybe. Basically, a beta.
Interesting. Jeez.
And this beta was supposed to allow humans to also shapeshift, but it ended up very wrong, very horribly wrong. Basically, whenever a human or a beta human tried to transform, they would immediately break bones, destroy their cells, and basically turn into a pile of mush. It was horrifying.
Do you have anything on? I mean, how did we get to this human state? Do you have a?
Yet they took the monkeys of
Mm-hmm.
Earth, and they decided they wanted to combine it with another species that was well known for its adaptation. Basically, we called them the originals. And they were the original species of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Reptilians decided, they were going to take some data from the Carian database before they left the planet. And so they took that and they decided they were going to mix it with the primates, make them less dumb, more adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
The base,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, but we're like, how many species do you think that are connected to us then?
There are at least around 16 species, if I recall. Many of them were offshoots, such as the Neanderthal, the Homo erectus.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of hybrids that did not turn out well.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them were just killed by the more dominant human species, which was the Homo sapiens. Sometimes they would mate with each other, and many people still have Neanderthal DNA in them because of this.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Although there are very special few people who have the DNA from the proto-humans, such as the shape-shifting reptilians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These people cannot shapeshift, although they can change eye color at will.
Yeah.
It's
definitely. Yeah, that's true. Definitely. Well, there are people like singers or actors. Some of them are shape shifting into actual reptilians.
Yeah. Reptilians like to have a huge following, especially if it allows them to influence a population.
Yeah. In our what do you see? Does humanity have any hope, or what is your what do the Carians have to say?
Well, currently, humanity is in sort of an interesting spot right now. They will eventually break free of the hold,
Mm-hmm.
and they will eventually re-attain the superhuman form, but that won't be for another few billion years. However, you will make contact within the next 200 years.
That's good.
It's prophecy.
Mm-hmm. So right now, I mean, it feels like just humanity, they're kind of stuck in their, the teenage years, or how?
Yes. You're basically in the teenage years, I want to say like 15 years old, 16, sweet 16. But you have a lot to go, but you've gone very far, and I would have to say a lot of us are impressed at how you've progressed. And Carians actually are sort of rooting for humans because we know that the reptilians want to use these against the Carian. Reptilians want to use humans against the Carians, so we're kind of rooting for the humans instead of the reptilians, because
Interesting.
reptilians equal bad.
Are all Anunnaki? They're not all reptilian, or are they?
Not all of them.
Yeah.
Thoth was one of the few exceptions to the Anunnaki. He's the one who sort of gave Carians the bad image. He's the one who made us seem like we were the bad guys. In fact, the reptilians spread around rumors that the Carians wanted them to kill that the Carians wanted that the Carians told them that everything belonged to them, but that wasn't the case. In fact, Carians right now currently are a laughing stock of the galaxy. We are constantly criticized because of that event, even though it was over 1 billion years ago. I know my brother could never live it down. He was fired from his job because of the whole uprising, and so are the other scientists. But there are reptilians who are still good, and we call those ones the draconians. And they have evolved on a different line than reptilians over the next billion years. They have wings now, and we believe that it sort of means that they've ascended beyond reptilian bodies. Draconians and dragons. You know the dragon mythology that humans have?
Yeah.
They were also a separate species. They were a subspecies of draconians.
Oh, interesting.
Meant to be very powerful, very wise, and to be respected. Except there was a sort of person in King Arthur's group who wanted all dragons to be hunted down, and eventually you killed off all the dragons. But the legend still lives on, and the legend of King Arthur still lives on.
That wasn't Merlin, was it?
No, that was some man named Guinevere. Sir Guinevere. He had the same name as King Arthur's wife, I believe.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but he viewed the dragons as evil, that they were going to take over all of humanity. So he decided he was going to set up a whole cult that focused around killing dragons. And eventually, over the next few hundred years, they killed off the last remaining dragon. And I have a friend who was actually one of those dragons, and he is currently alive today as Del Toro. He was known as Del Torix. I cannot say his real name at the moment due to anonymity. You know.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, the location. Is there a location where the Carians are on Earth?
On Earth?
Yeah, or around Earth, or
around Earth. We can be normally found in the Orion constellation, but on Earth there are few of us, very few, that have used transformation technologies to become human. I'm not one of them. I'm not one of the.
Yeah,
because my mission started over 1.5 million years ago.
Yeah, it feels like the reptilians are using like another dimension against us. You know?
Reptilians are natural transformation creatures. We sort of made them to be that way for the sake of combat. They were meant to also be as foot soldiers as well when we started out the experiments. But when they went rogue, Draconians no longer have that feature since they have evolved beyond that. They don't need it. But reptilians still need it because they want to influence humans.
Yeah, because our military looks at least the U.S. military looks very reptilian.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at the colors, you just get that reptilian vibe from it.
I can tell you this, though. Kim Jong-un is being influenced by reptilian. He himself is not reptilian. However, he is being influenced by a reptilian. I gotta tell you, the man has a short temper, though. In fact, he's also captured an alien that has crash landed before off the coast of North Korea.
I wouldn't doubt it. Jeez. What is there anything that Carians can say about the Arab world? Because it's pretty.
About the what?
the Arab world, you
You
know,
mean such as the whole Allahu Akbar thing?
yeah, or just a hostile area, maybe
We
not.
think we think they have a fine honor society, but we believe that they are very primitive and that they need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
We can respect how they're trying to stick to tradition, but sometimes there are some traditions that need to be let go,
Mm-hmm.
as we have done. We
Mm-hmm.
still believe in the ancestors before us, but we don't let that get in the way of our technological progress and our social progress. They, the Arabs are very restrictive when it comes to women, especially
Yeah.
women drivers, women being out in public without a man.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very concerning topic. It's
Yeah.
the Japanese are, in our eyes, we view the Japanese as possibly equals.
Mm-hmm.
But the Arabs, no, they're not doing it right. They're not evolving right. In fact, the reptilians are probably influencing them as well, trying to get religious dogma to corrupt their society.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that's not to say that all religion is bad.
Mm-hmm.
I
No.
mean, Jesus was a real person,
Mm-hmm.
and he really was, quote unquote, the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a prophet known far and wide across the entire galaxy. In fact, some of us even believe that he may have reincarnated into other species to spread his word, but that's just
Yeah.
rumor that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to live in peace with one another, and that's the message that we are also trying to teach you guys, but we obviously cannot due to Galactic Federation restricting us from it interfering.
But there are beings here, like maybe even Carians.
There is interference, but most of these species are breaking the law.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at that.
Like
But,
the Greys will do anything to defy the Federation. In fact, the Greys aren't even part of the game. We don't know where they came from. In fact, they're one of the more, they are the most technologically advanced species in the universe. They have even sacrificed their own ability to reproduce just to speak with God.
hmm.
That was the price they paid. They can no longer reproduce, and that's why they abduct humans. They're trying to save their species.
Yeah. What does the Carians have to say about Israel?
Israel is a huge factor in the war.
Mm-hmm.
It plays a big part in the prophecy. There is going to be a new heaven, or translated, a new universe and a new earth. Not in a literal sense, but in a sort of metaphorical sense. There's going to be a new age.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel is the focus of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's where the war is beginning, and it's where it's going to end.
Yeah, because I'm getting a channel message here basically to ask about it. Like they according to their religion, they're the chosen ones, right?
Yes, they are. Well, some of them
Some
are.
of them
There
are.
are very few of them that still survive today
Mm-hmm.
due to certain breeding and
Mm-hmm.
such.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them are still the chosen ones, and they're still there, and we still need to help them.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to get Earth to fulfill this prophecy and to allow humans to be part of the Galactic Federation, we need to help the Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't, then all is lost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or make peace, not war.
Make peace, not war.
Yeah, Yes.
Even a warlike species like the Carians have to say this.
Yeah, because no matter what you think of, you know, anybody for that matter. What about the Illuminati being off-world?
The Illuminati is off-world.
Yeah.
The Illuminati are basically just an advanced form of the Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
They are pulling the strings behind every single government on the planet. Although there are few governments that do not listen to the what are they called again? Illuminati,
Mm-hmm.
because they just don't take shit, such as the Africans. The Africans are actually one of the few governments that aren't being influenced by the Illuminati, because many of them are just so stubborn.
Yeah. Well, they don't want to be under control.
No one does.
Feels like they're very advanced too, so they're being kind of sabotaged because of it.
It's more of a parasitic relationship than a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
In the end, though, the Anunnaki and the Illuminati are the ones that have advanced the human race the furthest with the technology they have.
With the Anunnaki, so they can be in, I guess, any form.
They can be in any form. Yes.
That's a feeling I get from. So they're kind of, they see themselves as gods.
They have a very big ego, and I would have to say they do see themselves as gods, just because they've uncovered the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's wrap it up for today's show. Definitely, thank you for being on.
It is a pleasure to finally be able to tell my story once more.
Yeah, if you like to, it's up to you if you like to be on again.
I'd be happy to. I'd be very happy to.
All right, I'll be in touch with you. Maybe in.
We haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, maybe give you maybe in 2 weeks, something.
Sure, if you want.
I'll email you. Yeah, we can talk afterwards. So.
Sure.
All right. Thank you for being on. Is there anything last words for the audience? Anything you'd like to say?
Last words for the audience?
Yeah, just anything.
There's
You don't have.
The Philosopher's Stone is real. Do not stop looking for it. It is available to the public, but under a very, very specific code name. I cannot tell you what it is. You have to find this on your own. Although it is real, and it will actually help the next age occur. I just wanted to let you know this, and I will reveal more about this maybe in the next interview.
Okay, sounds good.
Yes.
All right, good cliffhanger. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. And
thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm a fan of your show.
Yeah, thank you. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us. This is Interstellar Radio. Go to ivantower.com for more information about the show, and we'll have another show next week. Every week so far so we have guests. So much love, everyone, and have a